I'm going to go ahead and get the hatch set up. I've been looking through all the stuff I got in the kit. There's a couple different choices of rubbers to put around the edge. Doesn't really need to seal, but needs a nice padding to go against when it shuts. Be solid. And no vibrations, but I can't find which one they want to use. So I still got to figure that out. And first thing I did, went ahead and opened the hatch and pay attention to this line right down here versus this line here on each side. I wanted to center that up because when the factory trimmed the edges of these panels and you set it in the hole, it wants to be more to one side than the other. So you want to watch out. You don't want to start trimming things too much until you make sure it's actually in the hole. So I ended up having to move mine over to the right hand side quite a bit more than what it was. So I got to do a lot of trimming on the right side and then hope that I got enough gap, enough material on the left side. I messed around with these hinges quite a bit trying to get these adjusted and get it to where when it shuts it's in the right depth and in the right spot. And it's kind of interesting because the closer I got the hatch in alignment, the freer the hinges wanted to be. In other words, I could tell they were binding less and less the closer I got it where it seemed to be in the right spot. So now when I close it, it sits in the hole, and the depth, trying to get the depth good, clear up here all the way to the back so the gaps line up. So now I got to do some trimming on the hatch and the inside, and I got to find some rubber seal, and then I got to get the latch in there. I thought I was going to have to bend the top of this so it would line up with this back, but now I see what I need to do is actually leave the shape of this the way it is, and this is what's going to move. This moves pretty easy. So when I mount that latch support in there, I'll be able to move that up where I want it. Let it line up just perfect. I got this moved over to where the inside was centered with the body line for the hatch, and that really changed things. And again, the closer I get this thing where it's supposed to be, the hinges, they just seem to work so smooth now compared to the way I had it. They were really binding up, and when it shuts, it's sitting much more level in the hole, like all the way down here, because the glass is going to fit in there, and the glass is going to end up being somewhat flush with the body. And it's looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. I gotta find some kind of rubber to put in there before I really start trimming it, setting it up for the final fit. But I'm thinking this is going to be where it goes as I open it. If you watch the back edge, it opens nice and level all the way up. And when it shuts, it doesn't look like it's going to have any problem binding up anywhere. It looks like it's going to shut perfect. So far so good. And I noticed here that I'm going to square up the inside hole, get that symmetrical with the body line. Well, that was fun. That got dusty. Real dusty. I used tape, kind of eyeball the edge of it, the body line, and then grind right down to the tape edge. I got the gaps pretty narrow at the moment. I want to keep them as narrow as I can. Keep a nice tight edges. And it's fitting pretty good. I got the inside edge of that hatch centered up with the body. Pretty darn good. And it all moves good. Nice edge right up here. There's going to be room for the glass. Down that edge and also down this edge. Gonna be nice room for the glass there. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Time to clean up my mess and go to work. I got the glass sitting on there. Put some spacers in there, some pieces of foam. Kind of keep a gap underneath the glass where the glue's going to go. And then on the inside I've got the seal kind of taped in place, so when I shut it I know where it's going to sit. So now I got to put the latch in there, and it's going to be a lot of body work around this glass to get it to where it looks like it's supposed to be there. Some spots are sticking up too high. This gap around the top edge right here is going to need some work. And I'm going to have to shave it down a bit right here, I can see. Which means I'll probably have to do some fiberglass work on the back side of it so I don't make it too thin. And anyway, it'll fit, it'll work. That's what Bondo's for. I got the struts on there, and it works pretty good. They're a little bit longer than I wish they were. This is kind of temporary right here. I wish that was more centered up, but the struts were longer, I think, than they should be. And I don't want it to open that far, so I stuck it where I did. Now I'm mounting up the latch. And I'm just sticking this on here with vice grips so I can make sure I get this in the right spot. I've been underneath there and marked the holes where I want them. I'm going to drill them out, put the nut certs. There's a bracket back here holding that in, and once I get the body back off the frame, then I'll stick that in there more permanent. And there's not much wiggle room on the latch. You pretty much got to get it right there where it belongs, because the holes in here there's no adjustment. And when you're using nut certs on the back, so it only goes in one spot. And same thing up here. It's going to be not much wiggle room. So there's the hatch. About as good as I can get it. Yeah, it's not too bad, but like I said, I'll have to eat that out some more. And I'll have to bring this body up with some Bondo. And same thing over here. There's a little bit of difference here and there, but I'll fill that in with Bondo. I'll encase that glass with a nice Bondo edge and make it look like it was meant to be. And got that set up. Got the latch installed. So I guess that's it for now for the hatch, and it's time to tackle one of these doors.